Okay.
Okay. So I've been getting more and more into not only like trying to understand dimensions, but like trying to really understand what it would mean to be a being from that dimension. So bear with me. I could go deeper in the future. I might go to like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimension and try to make us understand what those fucking words mean, because they're just abstract nonsense to us right now. But let's just, for this moment, let's just stick with the 4th dimension. Okay. We live in 3-dimensional space.
Right.
Okay. We can go frontwards, backwards, side to side, up and down. This basically is a 3-dimensional spatial plane that we exist in. But you're sitting there thinking, hold on, Brett. There's a 4th dimension. And what's that 4th dimension, Dave?
Like taking a lot of acid.
Incorrect. Time. Time is the 4th dimension.
Oh, right.
But time is not spatial for us.
Right.
Time works one way. We are caught in the current of time.
Except time is a flat circle, so it is spatial too.
It's not helpful. So you can't go backwards in time. Time is not a spatial dimension that we can walk in any direction like we can in the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st dimension, right? So we do live in a 3-dimensional world. The 4th dimension is not spatial; it is temporal. It is the flow of the arrow of time. That no matter where you're moving through space, you're moving forward in time. Okay, now let's go back down to the 2-dimensional plane. Well, the 2-dimensional plane is you can go sideways, left or right, or forward or backwards. You can't go up and down. Okay? So we can see how jumping from the 2nd dimension to the 3rd dimension, we can see what gets expanded there. Okay, because you can go up and down in the 3rd dimension. So the 4th dimension is time, but we don't experience it spatially because we are 3-dimensional creatures. So we can't move spatially through the 4th dimension. We're locked into 3 dimensions. So, and I don't know if 4th dimensional beings exist, but let's just say, for a thought experiment, 4th dimensional beings exist. Conscious, intelligent beings in the 4th dimension. What would their experience of the world be like different than us? Well, let's think of what a 2-dimensional creature is compared to us. Think of classic Mario on Sega. Running left to right, jumping up, hitting his head on blocks, jumping into portals. 2 dimensions, right? Mm-hmm. So then you come out to the 3 dimensions, and you can now see that we can step back from 2 dimensions and look at those 2 dimensions that the other creature could be trapped in. Mm-hmm. If a Mario was real, we can step out, we can see it. Now, if we try to enter the 2nd dimension, think about this. If you're a 2-dimensional being, you don't see up and down. You just see left, right, forward, and backwards. So if you're looking out over your 2-dimensional plane, you're just looking at a flat surface ahead of you. If a 3-dimensional being comes into that 2-dimensional plane, you can't see the full 3-dimensional being. What you can see is a slice of whatever, you can see a slice of it passing through your 2nd dimension. So if I took let's say you a 2-dimensional being looking straight out over their 2-dimensional world, and I take Dave, a 3-dimensional being, and I put him I grab him by his little hair, and I lower him through the 2nd dimension. From the perspective of the 2nd dimensional being, they're going to see cross sections of your body coming into their plane and disappearing. They'll never see your whole body at once. Right? They'll just see the little straight sliver. Let's say like as your ankle passes through, they'll see that cross section of your being, but they won't see your foot, they won't see your knee. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then bear with me here. We zoom out to the 4th dimension. What is different about a hypothetical 4th dimensional being, given what we know about our engagement with the 2nd dimensional being? Well, first of all, if a 4th dimensional being comes into the 3rd dimension, it will seem like things are popping in and out of existence, and we're only seeing parts of it. Just like this 2-dimensional being only sees part of our 3-dimensional Dave that I'm dropping into his world. Okay. In the 4th dimension, time becomes spatial. So we live in 3 spatial dimensions with a temporal one time. In 4 dimensions, that temporal dimension is now spatial, meaning you can travel through it.
Right. Okay.
So 4th dimensional beings would be able to navigate time like we navigate space. And the best depiction of this that I can think of in cinematic history is in the film Interstellar, when he enters the Tesseract.
Oh, I love this movie.
And he's floating around and he's looking through the bookcase, right? Mm-hmm. And there's an infinite array of bookcases. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he jumps to different bookcases?
Yeah.
What he's jumping to is different moments in time through that same bookcase. So he can enter, when his daughter is 17 years old or when she's 6 years old and takes the book off the shelf. Then he pushes off that and he goes to a different shelf. It's the same shelf, but he goes to a different one, and it's a different aspect of time. And what that beautiful scene highlights, tries to visualize what the 4th dimension would be like. Now, maybe you're not floating around. Maybe it's a little different. And of course, we can never fully understand it. We can only attempt to grasp it and visualize it. But that scene of the main character entering the fourth dimension, the Tesseract, in his spacesuit, looking through the bookcase, is an attempt to visualize what a fourth dimensional experience could be like.
So in the fourth dimension,
time becomes spatial.
Would it mean that like time is not moving like an arrow? Time is just it's a space.
It's a block.
It's a block. So that means all of time. So I guess here's where the real conundrum happens, is that would mean now that all of time is in this space.
Yes.
To where there is actually, so time is finite? Or the space is infinite?
Yes, it could very well be, but your lifespan is only what you can enter. So, there's still like a Dave and a Breht in the fourth dimension. And there's all of time before I was born and after I die.
Yeah.
But because I'm Breht in the fourth dimension, I can enter any period of my life from birth to death.
Okay.
I can't go back to the 15th century, and I can't go forward to the 25th century.
So
my life is still there. It's still the limits.
So for the being, the space of time is hinging on how long you're alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because, okay.
Like
so,
your life is still your life. You still have a birth and a death. But you can go back and you can visit different points in that life to death.
So you can't move in that space to things beyond your death.
Exactly right.
Okay.
You're still locked into that. Now, maybe if I come back and we do fifth and sixth dimensions, it's one level of abstraction away from that. So then I'll get to that later. I think it's too complicated, and I'd have to do some research before I try to articulate that. But there would be now in a fifth dimension, if there's fifth dimensional beings, there would now be multiple life paths that you could take. So instead of your birth to death, where you can rewind and forward, that time you got dumped by your girlfriend at 18 is always going to be the time you got dumped by that girlfriend at 14 or 18 in the fourth dimension. In the fifth dimension, you might now have multiple trajectories, multiple life trajectories.
Or maybe infinite ones, right?
Sixth dimension, maybe you start abstracting further and further away. Then it gets very hard to deal with. But in the future, I'll try to wrestle with the fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth.
Figure that out.
Yeah, I'll figure that out real quick. But isn't that interesting?
No, it's really. I mean, that's a good way that you've breaking it out, because I did know a little bit about that. I guess you put it to words, but I knew about that just from that movie.
Yeah,
like, I'm so obsessed from that. I went down the Wikipedia thing and everything they looked up. But I knew a little bit about that. But the way you succinctly put it is actually much better for me to grasp. Because I don't feel like I could say what it is. I'm like, it's kind of like, and I would just do this with my hands a lot. Just they're fluttering right now. It's kind of just like,
oh, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that's cool. I hope people like that, because I found that fascinating, and I was like talking to my kids and my wife about it.
There is things that are neat where you know them in your mind, but when they're actually said for you, because they're just like kind of there. Like I had a grasp on it, but I couldn't ever really say what it was. Like if you had to put a gun to my head, I wouldn't have, I don't think, a good enough analogies to just come up with on the fly without doing more research.
Right.
Into it,
And isn't that what makes a great writer or poet?
I know.
That they put into concrete, beautiful terms a feeling that you've had but never articulated.
Right.
You ever read somebody and like, oh my God, I felt that exact thing and they said it fucking perfectly. I've never put that feeling into words.
Right.
And then you love that writer because they gave words to a feeling that you've had.
Yeah, that's truly what it's about. I remember there was one of the best things is movies keep using it. It's so funny. Like movies about time travel keep using it over and over again because it's such a good example. It's like, how did you do the warp speed thing? Like, how did you do that warp speed? Is like, they draw on a piece of paper. You've probably seen this before. Yeah. They draw two spots, A to B, and they draw a line on that piece of paper. And then here's the really cool part: they push the pencil through the A and the B, and then they connect them together.
Yeah.
And it's such
wormhole.
Yeah, that's the wormhole thing. Mm-hmm. And it's such I didn't know if when I tried to grasp it, if that's the way it was, where it's actually just a space and you could move like time instead of just those two A and B's, you can move it at any point all over the place,
right.
Like that movement that they do.
Because for interstellar travel, because the only thing that can travel at the speed of light is a massless proton or photon, a little particle of light. And it's because it doesn't have any mass that it can get to the speeds of the speed of light. Mm-hmm. But anything with mass, like a fucking spaceship, you're not going to be able to accelerate it to the speed of light because there's too much mass.
Right.
So you're only going to be able at the very most advanced civilizations to go a fraction of the speed of light, which might make interstellar travel completely impractical, especially for organic beings who can't travel those long distances and stay alive. And would it be even worth it to try to go on a 100-year or 1,000-year journey to go to a new planet you don't even know if you can live on, or
what's truly weird suicidal people have to try to do that.
All that is just to say that in lieu of a wormhole being real, or in lieu of a warp drive, or in lieu of being able to distort time and space in front of the ship such that you can travel through it at a much quicker space, technically, then interstellar travel and certainly intergalactic travel is probably or very well could be completely impossible, even for very, very, very advanced species. And the only way to get around that, possibly, if that's the universe we live in where there are no wormholes and there is no way to distort time and space in that way, would be to have artificial life that doesn't have the biological limits of organic life. So yeah, an organic alien can't travel for 100,000 years in a spaceship, but an artificial intelligence, a machine being, could make that travel, and it wouldn't matter to them.
Or that's why I think aliens can find us, truly, because people... I think a lot of times people get caught in the construct of aliens need to be somewhat similar to us or what we can conceive. Mm-hmm. I think an entire alien being is something that could just be made up of a spirit. Like it's a spirit, like it's almost like gaseous in a way, but it still somehow has all the abilities to function with thinking and stuff. Because there's so many times where it's like, isn't it funny that all the aliens we encounter are about our height and like about
humanoid? They have arms and legs,
or they like even the alien monsters. They still kind of look like animals. It's like aliens could be anything, right? So it could just be a spirit that's able to travel that way because it basically has like a invisible brain that's made up of a gas and it just works as it moves as a spirit.
Absolutely, and that begs the question of what types of life are possible. We only have one carbon-based example here on Earth that we then extrapolate to the rest of the cosmos, but we don't know shit. Like there could be conditions in which, silicone-based life emerges, or through technology or something. Yeah, maybe they can shed the limitations of an organic body in some way.
That's how they exist.
Or evolution has created that amazing species somewhere in some galaxy that we'll never fucking know about.
But they have to find us. They have to be like, all right.
Yeah, and how will they find us? Does not having a body mean they can travel at the speed of light?
Possibly.
If they don't have mass at all?
I'd like to believe so. Someone can save us from so much stuff.
So much stuff. Please come down.
Okay.
Okay.